We are slowly moving towards a future where actors will just digitally be aged pretty much until they die, so it's getting into that almost uncomfortable level of watching a movie. Now, luckily enough for the big comic book companies, they have a huge cast of characters they can pull from the source material, which brings us to Dave Bautista's recent comments about Marvel Studios not having to worry about actors retiring, or even being CG'd as some people have pointed out. So let's get to that. So yes, when it comes to the future of the MCU and the Marvel brand, and even DC, we know that they don't really need to recast actors or even do something like extensive de-aging because there's always legacy characters. This is something the Marvel Studios has already started to introduce and get people familiar with, and it's something that's going to continue. Recently, in an interview with Vulture, Dave Bautista was asked about his age and, of course, his future in Hollywood as he gets older. And he says that Marvel Studios and everybody really should not worry about actors retiring or anything like that, and that they don't really have that worry when you look at the library of characters that they have. And as he says, if you look at the future, they just bought Fox. They have the entire X-Men extensive universe of characters that just came in. A huge influx of properties, characters, storylines, and new concepts to introduce into the MCU. So instead of going in a route where you say, well, okay, Star-Lord, Chris Pratt doesn't want to do it anymore, let's just recast him, or let's just pay him extensive money to de-age him for the next 30 years. They don't have to do that. Instead, they can just keep doing what they've done so far. Take the character, age them out, or retire them and introduce a successor to them. And he says that that is something that he hopes they do because they're never going to run out of materials or actors or superheroes. There's tons out there, there's tons to pick from, there's tons to choose from, there's tons to do. So don't rely on the same old thing that worked, essentially. And I don't think anybody's going to disagree with him. I mean, can you imagine if they said, okay guys, Chris Evans and Robert Downey are done their contracts. Instead, the next time you see Captain America and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we recast Captain America. It's not Chris Evans anymore, but it's the same character. It's not Robert Downey anymore, if he survived, but it's somebody else. The audiences have been conditioned to accept these characters and the actors that play them. Suddenly changing that is going to get you tons of backlash, especially if it's in the same universe. So don't do that, and I think they understand that, and I think Dave Bautista has clearly started to understand that, because if somebody else was suddenly cast as Drax, unless it's a rebirth of the character like in the comics, people would be mad.